Well, it looks like Project Bluebeam is ramping up. We have signs in the heavens, mass UFO sightings, and deceptions with evidence of religious technology being used. All of this converging at this very moment, I believe, is not a coincidence. It's a sign of the times. And we'll also look at in this video how this is all happening in conjunction with this New Age ascension belief, or ascension lie, I should say, that many people are falling for. Project Bluebeam is a theory and a claim that powerful global elites are planning to stage fake supernatural events or earth-shattering events for the purpose of manipulating humanity into accepting a one-world government.
In light of today's events, the Department of Defense has confirmed that unidentified aerial vehicles were responsible for the mass abductions.
This type of technology certainly exists, and the type of people in power to do such a thing certainly exists too. Maybe that can explain a lot of the insane events happening in the heavens in just even the past few days, which we'll look at in this video. But before that, here's a little bit more insight into Project Bluebeam.
Big space show in the sky. He discovered that NASA and a few intelligence agencies developed the technology to project 3D holographic images into the sky. I say into because the system uses a combination of satellites and ground-based systems to manipulate the ionosphere. You don't need a screen. Images can be projected onto the particles in the atmosphere. The projections will appear so lifelike that people will believe they are witnessing a miracle. The dominant god of each region will appear in the sky. Imagine looking up and seeing Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, all speaking to their followers in their own language. Their God will tell them their beliefs are all wrong, then will slowly morph into a new God. This is the first appearance of the new Messiah, God of the New World Order.
The projections of Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Krishna will merge into one, and explanations of mysteries and revelations will be disclosed. This one God will, in fact, be the Antichrist, who will explain that the various scriptures have been misunderstood and misinterpreted, and that the religions of old are responsible for turning brother against brother and nation against nation. Therefore, old religions must be abolished to make way for the New Age, New World religion, representing the one God Antichrist they see before them.
Lately, we have been seeing a lot of signs in the sun, moon, and stars and in the heavens. Bible prophecy points to this happening in the future in a lot of different ways. There will be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and at the same time, distress of nations. The powers of the heavens will be shaken. Certainly, we're seeing the distress of nations part of that. Prophecies in the book of Revelation and also in the Old Testament book of Joel also confirm signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. There are biblical prophecies that point to deceptive signs and lying wonders in the heavens. We'll look at that in just a moment, but we have really been seeing a lot of things happening in the heavens lately. Missile or UFO, massive fireball slams into Indonesia port. Government agency issues clarification. A lot of these supposed meteors that we've been seeing lately are not acting like meteors, which are normally extremely fast events, like this one that was just recorded on April 6th.
Fireball! Beautiful!
But these slow meteors that people have been recording are not meteors. Meteors never travel this slow, and it's interesting, very similar to that supposed meteor in Indonesia. One that looks just like it was recorded over Atlanta, Georgia on April 7th. Something strange is happening with the uptick in these meteor sightings. Some of them do appear to be meteors. Other ones, the slow ones, hard to know exactly what that is. Are they keeping some sort of secret? They know these things are coming into the atmosphere in larger numbers, and for some reason they're not telling us. Is it something in connection with the UFO deception that is certainly growing around the world? Some people are saying that it's Project Bluebeam. Personally, what I believe is happening is that the world is just moving in the direction of the prophecy to be fulfilled, of people looking up to the heavens with some sort of expectation of the fearful things that are coming upon the earth. One area where we very well could be seeing Project Bluebeam technology is with what we're seeing with the UFO deception spreading around the world. There's certainly a dark spiritual aspect connected to this, which is why many Christians who have experienced this type of thing and the harassment from the lights in the sky or alien abductions have called on the Lord Jesus Christ, and these abductions stop, myself included, with being harassed by the lights in the sky. Thank you, Jesus, for stopping that. And Bible prophecy does point to deceptive signs and lying wonders, like false Christs and false prophets who will rise and show great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. The coming of the lawless one, or the Antichrist, is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders. Revelation 13 through 14 tells us that the Antichrist and the false prophet will perform great signs, so that they even make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and this deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs. So as we move into the future and get closer to those prophecies being fulfilled, it's very important that we stay close to Jesus Christ in a relationship of prayer and worship, so that you will be sensitive to when you're starting to see the things unfolding in the world. You will have a spiritual discernment, whether this is a natural event, something from God, or something evil. This video was posted online on April 5th. Supposedly one of the craziest UFO footages of all time over Kazakhstan. The technology to do this type of thing certainly exists. We'll look more into that as we look at the potential of them faking the Messiah or religious figures coming upon the earth. But I just want to reiterate that we have both things going on right now. We have technological deceptions, we have military testing going on, and then we have a spiritual phenomenon of these deceptions that are coming upon the earth. All of these things happening at the exact same time. Congressman Tim Burchett pretty much just admitted on TMZ that these entities and this phenomenon is real, and it does exist.
What I want to make sure I'm understanding is a member of our government has told you and others, I guess, that there is a form of alien life and machinery which maybe brought this living creature here that interacted in some form with people?
Yeah, they have, and they've it's pretty wild. I know, but I'm just telling you, I'm not going to lie to you. I'd take a lie to you. You want to put me on a polygraph, I'll take it. But this is what the guy told me. I mean, I've had a very high-ranking naval official describe, I've talked about this before, underwater craft, something big as a football field, moving at over 200 miles an hour. And there's no fish in the ocean that would do that. We don't even have a sub that'll probably do 40 miles an hour and the last thing he said before he left my office was, it was kind of weird because he didn't go out he went out the side door, which nobody ever uses. And he looked at me and pulled me up close. He said, Tim, they're real.
I personally think what may be going on with Tim Burchett is that he is being used as a tool by the deep state or whoever to release a certain information about UFOs that they want to release to control the narrative. But time will tell exactly how they want to reveal this evil deception coming upon the earth. And it probably won't even happen until the beast system, the Antichrist system, starts to spread and grow in the world, because they will probably use this to lead people away from the truth of God, which is what it always does for people who believe this phenomenon is from aliens and extraterrestrials from outer space. Now let's look at the possibility of Project Bluebeam being used to set up religious deceptions through some sort of technology. It's important that we know that this type of advanced technology certainly does exist. Holograms and atmospheric projection is definitely a real thing. They also have directed sound weapons that can make people hear something from a distance, kind of like the voice-to-skull technology that they've literally had, or at least admitted to having, for decades.
Renowned author and speaker Nick Begich cites more than 30 patents that show mind control is possible. Begich used this infrasound device to demonstrate on me.
They used it, I believe, in the Gulf War to tell the enemy at that time, lay down your guns, this is Allah. And it worked pretty well, because hearing voices which have no direction or sound, you have to assume that it's some spiritual entity. So it works pretty well.
And so when I aim it towards you, what you hear is made right next to your ears. So again, this idea of being able to put sound anywhere you want to is really starting to catch on. We've got the military had just deployed some of these into Iraq, where you can put fake troop movements quarter of a mile away on a hillside. Or you can whisper in the ear of a supposed terrorist some biblical verse. I'm serious. We make a version of this which puts out 155 decibels. Pain is 120. So it allows you to go nearly a mile away and communicate with people, and there can be a public beach just off to the side and they don't even know it's turned on. We sell those to the military presently for about $70,000, and they're buying them as fast as we can make them.
And it's really scary the direction that things are starting to move, with the ability for them to use technology to implant false memories.
Having seen that person commit the crime, even though that person's utterly innocent, that it becomes a planted memory. And so there's some really interesting research that we can plant false memories in the brain. And in a different context, one of the emerging areas that's really interesting in law neuroscience is pain detection. And once we understand the circuitries that cause pain, I guess the question is, could we then instill pain and use that in many coercive measures in the legal system as well? So.
Wow, that's amazing.
It makes you wonder, if they can do this on a micro scale, can they do it on a macro scale? We also know if they're admitting to this type of technology publicly, they are way more advanced in what they actually have in military applications and things like this. Using blue beam type of technology for holograms of religious figures or voices directly into people's heads, simulated divine encounters, all being used for mass psychological manipulation is a real possibility, and they do have this technology.
Project Bluebeam was to trick the human race into believing either God is coming down or it was going to be the evil aliens attacking. And notice how they, all of a sudden, all the governments release all their information on UFOs, and that's just deception. It's just,
you think it's all deception?
I think it's all deception.
Really?
Yeah. You know the people that see orbs in the sky?
Yeah.
Those are directed energy weapons of where we do intersecting beams or focus beams into the atmosphere to excite the electron orbitals of the oxygen and nitrogen. And it causes a glow and it causes ionization. That ionization shows up on radar and it's like a cat laser pointer. And we're making planes chase them.
That's exactly how they describe these things moving, like laser pointers.
Yeah.
Like a ping pong ball.
We can make it look like an entire fleet is about to drop bombs.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh.
While all that type of blue beam technology does exist, I think really what we are going to start to see is the spiritual deception associated with all of this. A massive lie is deceiving a lot of people. They believe that an ascension or a new level, a new age of awakening is coming on the horizon.
So many more contactees are going to remember. People are going to have very lucid dreams. They're going to remember. And that's the thing, that the majority of ET contact is occurring in dream state, because that's when we navigate and have access to these dimensions, right? That's when we can access. When we dream, we are actually accessing our holographic DNA. We're traveling in between those states.
We're seeing this new age ascension connected to the UFO topic and aliens because the two are connected, because they're both part of Satan's kingdom, as Satan's kingdom is not divided. This is also something being pushed by Chris Bledsoe, the guy who posted in his book that there was going to come a new understanding, the ascension, the awakening, around Easter 2026, the end of an old way and the beginning of a new, who also said on Newsmax that this was going to happen on Easter.
The lady explained to me that in April of 26, there would be an alignment where this star, which is a blue star, of Regulus appears on the horizon in front of the Sphinx, and it would be red.
And you know what? This is right.
That's what she said.
I've actually spoken to astronomers. This is the phenomenal thing about this.
Yeah, and she said it'll be red. And when that happens, it would mark a shift into a new knowledge, not an apocalypse. That's what she told me. It doesn't mean Jesus is coming back. There's a new knowledge that's coming. What is that? Is it under the pyramids they've discovered something? Is it the Hall of Records? Is it disclosure?
And he said it again on Sean Ryan's podcast.
Exact alignment will happen in 2026 at Easter.
What will happen?
The star will, the alignment she told me about, that the star of Regulus would be on the horizon in front of the Sphinx. At that moment, there'd be a new knowledge.
Of course, nothing happened. the grift caught up to him, or the demons lied to him, so he had to backtrack and say that he never said Easter and it's coming in September or October.
So this is Easter of 26, or?
Yeah, I wrote it that way because she came back telling me that they had made a mistake. But honestly, I never really was sure about it. And now I have since the book was published, all these astronomers are calling me, professional ones and astrologers, saying, we're seeing October. But what makes sense is the scientists that I'm talking to are saying that they know it'll be in the fall because the dust from the Sahara fulfills the atmosphere in October. And that's when they believe it'll turn ruby red on the horizon. But I don't know. I don't know. She told me, she gave me she said when it does this, right? So I don't know when that will happen, but
I had to point all of that out because Chris Bledsoe just posted another orb video, another close-up one, and I actually think after looking at his history of lying on the polygraph, lying about the Easter prophecy,
in 2026, Easter,
scamming people in his past, news reports on it about him doing a terrible job building people's homes, which is why he lost his company, was in such a bad place, and had his first supposed UFO encounter. Now he makes his living grifting these orb videos. I'm still on the fence whether he has a connection to these evil forces that are manifesting around him, or if this entire thing is a complete grift like he's done in the past. And there are tons of people who are grifting off of this belief, and it's important that we do our best to expose those people when they're caught so other people won't be deceived by them. But there are also tons of people who are believing this New Age ascension and this new awakening that they believe is coming.
It's a very positive thing that we're going to be allowed to continue to exist in this omnipresent universe, because I believe that we will be saved. I believe that we will go through this with preservation. It is exciting. It's an exciting time. It's a happy time because, the ascension is something that we never get tired of talking about.
This can really be traced back all the way to the Garden of Eden, this same exact lie that you can be like God, have a new level of awakening to a new higher truth, and that all of your desires will be fulfilled once the New Age ascension comes into play. Well, these people will 100%, outside of the grace of Jesus Christ, fall for the Antichrist's deceptions of signs and wonders that are coming. And many of them are going to be happening in the heavens. Satan is the prince of the power of the air, and the possibility of governments or deep state agencies performing deceptions in the sky with technology or just on mass amounts of people is a real possibility. But I think the spiritual component of this new age of ascension that's connected to these orb manifestations that are happening in the sky that are not all a grift by people, but real evil manifestations that people are experiencing, that I believe is going to be one of the great deceptions coming upon the earth that we are told people will be looking up to the sky for. I think that's a very high likelihood of happening. The merging of physical deceptions and spiritual deceptions will ultimately take place and come to fruition through the Antichrist and his world order. Stay close to Jesus Christ so you can have spiritual discernment to understand what's coming in the days, months, and years ahead. In all of this, you can be certain of one thing: the Bible is the truth. Anything that comes that teaches a different truth is an evil deception. When Jesus Christ truly does return the second time, it will be unmistakable, way beyond some hologram in the sky or some technology that makes you feel or think a certain way. It will shake the heavens and the earth, and all people will be in utter awe and amazement. Behold, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even they who pierced him, and all the tribes of the earth will mourn because of him. Even so, amen.